Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. You know, it's always really funny to see something absolutely blow up in people's faces when you try to go out there and try to end people's career, when you try to take their money away from them, and when you get mad at the fact that other people out there are far more successful than you. And guess what? The agenda-driven nonsense you can into push, no matter how much you try to shill for a lot of these major corporations out there, it's just not going to end up resonating within the audiences in any way, shape, or form. And boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is a follow-up little video to what happened with Star Wars Explained last week and their targeted harassment campaign against members of the Fellowship, including Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, and our dear sweet Ryan Kennel. And ladies and gentlemen, also decided to call out Star Wars Theory in this as well and try to lump basically everybody who disagreed with the fact that the Acolyte was wonderful and amazing. Yes, any of us that actually watched the show and were not complete and total shills for Walt Disney Star Wars. Yes, we all realized that the show was a disastrous dumpster fire and the Walt Disney Company canceled it on top of that. So that, of course, sent them into an immediate meltdown, ladies and gentlemen, a targeted harassment campaign that was very well covered in CosmicBook.news last week without calling out any of the names. But boys and girls, this is Star Wars Explained. This is a channel that a lot of us were probably subscribed to at one point, and after watching Star Wars Theory's video, it shows you how absolutely toxic the online Star Wars YouTuber sphere is. Not the fans, not the audience, but no, the Star Wars YouTube shills out there, desperate enough to keep their access media out there and all completely and totally obsessed with money. By the way, go out there and watch Star Wars Theory's video explaining his relationship with Molly and all the rest of these folks out there over the years, and that will give you a full breakdown of exactly what I'm saying. But what we are here to talk about today, boys and girls, is to quickly recap the targeted harassment came that Star Wars Theory, Molly Damon, and of course Rewriting Ripley all decided to go after in order to get these people canceled, only to find out that, guess what, Goblin King, you have no power over me or anyone else for that matter, because it is completely and totally blown up in their faces. They are getting exactly what they deserve, and now they are suffering the consequences for their targeted harassment campaign out there and are dealing with the fallout for it. And that's exactly what we're here to document, boys and girls, because this has been a disastrous dumpster fire and they are getting exactly what they deserve, and it could not go to better people out there. So we're going to check out all of this information that we've collected. We're going to show all of the different evidence that we've got out there. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and we stand with the Fellowship. So please, if you haven't already, hit that little button down below, and also leave us a comment in the section down below. Does this surprise you at all that the kind of people that run the Star Wars Explained channel out there did this kind of thing? Or were you one of those people out there who was a fan of them who has now left because of this absolute insanity that they decided to get involved in? Let me know what you think about all that down below. So, as always, this is where it all started. So Molly Damon, who obviously points out the fact that she is half of Star Wars Explained, she also has her pronouns in her bio and a wonderful rainbow flag. Boy, I wonder what her ideology is, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it all started off with, I've spoken at length about this in the past, but the only way to get this better is if Team YouTube does something to discourage this kind of content. Until then, it will only get worse. So we've been through all of this kind of nonsense, and of course, Team YouTube responded. We really appreciate you bringing this to our attention. Mind reporting the channel video in official reporting tool if you haven't yet. This page has more information how to do that. So their basic standard little bot reply right to this kind of stuff out there when the Team YouTube gets called out for this kind of thing. Well, and this is the funny part about this. Why do we say this was a coordinated, targeted harassment campaign? Because there's a million examples out there showing that a bunch of people posted and reposted this exact same kind of thing. And then Molly even goes out there and says later on, trying to distance herself from this, saying that no, it wasn't even my idea. I was just resharing it. I was reposting it. Well, it sure looks like, according to the post you've got right here, that you fully supported and agreed with this kind of nonsense. Well, how did that work, boys and girls? How did Team YouTube respond? Because at the end of my video, we didn't know at the time, and I honestly wasn't really sure which way they were going to go. I wasn't sure how much cancel culture mob power they still actually had, or YouTube was willing to capitulate to, especially considering all of the money that these channels make them between their super chats and their direct donations and their views and their advertising revenue and everything else. I mean, Geeks and Gamers and I think D-Day Cobra have been some of the #1 top receivers of donations in the country in the past. And guess what? YouTube gets a 30% cut of that. And channels like yours, Molly, with Star Wars Theory or Star Wars Explained and that cuck of a husband you've got out there are not doing so well. And so here's the rejection over here. Rewriting Ripley, because Team YouTube responded. Thanks for reaching out. just heard back and confirmed that this content is not volatile and is not a violative and will remain up. We totally understand you may not agree with this decision, but we have reviewed the videos very carefully against our policies. And of course, they lost it over that. Because they could not handle it. They called out Team YouTube. They were like, oh, you're trash. You're abomination. So obviously, Rewriting Whipley was actually the first ones to post this out there. They even beat Molly to the gun by simply a few minutes out there. Boy, I wonder how all of these posts popped up all at the exact same time. I'm sure it wasn't a targeted, coordinated harassment campaign in any way, shape, or form. Well, after Team YouTube rejected all of them, after they tried comparing Ryan and Gary and everybody else to people like Milo Yiannopoulos pulling up stuff from literally almost a decade ago at this point, well, here's Star Wars Explained's channel. Now you can see 811,000 subscribers. That's a hell of a lot of subscribers. That's insane. They've also been in the game since what, like 2014, 2015? Needless to say, they've been making Star Wars content for a very long time. But here's what's kind of funny. The views aren't so great with a channel that's 200,000 away from a million. 23,000, 51,000, 12,000, 27,000, 21,000, 81,000. There's not bad. 51,000, 62,000. And there you go at it, boys and girls. Now, this is a channel that doesn't even get 10% of its viewers on most of their things. Otherwise, you'd be nailing out 80,000 views every time. They don't even get 10% of their viewers anymore. I'd imagine there's a lot of people that are still subscribed to this channel that don't even watch their content anymore because that's how the algorithm works. Especially, I know this, I've seen this on my own smart TV out there. If I stop watching a certain channel's videos on a regular basis, they stop showing it to me in the algorithm. Now, am I going to go out of my way to unsubscribe to that channel? No. Why would I bother? I'm not seeing their content anymore. I'm not thinking about them anymore. But oh, boys and girls, the people that are still thinking about them, the people that are still checking out their content, yeah, needless to say, it's not going well. So all the way back to 11 days ago, answering your questions about Star Wars Outlaws. Yes, one of the biggest flops we've seen in history that is failing miserably and is going to end up costing Ubisoft hundreds of millions of dollars that they are all about shilling for. 1.2 thousand upvotes to 2.7 thousand downvotes. Now, why do we call these people shills? Because these are the kind of posts we put out there. Also, this is Molly talking about the Acolyte. Also, the further we get into the show, the sillier all the fake outrage is. I get wanting to make more money, but doing it out of hate and anger is only going to rot your brain. Money, 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 money. You'll notice you see them even in the precursor when they're talking about all this kind of stuff, that it's all about money, money, money. And if you go and watch Star Wars' Theories video, which I highly recommend it, talking about his relationship with Molly, Star Wars Explained, and everybody else in the Star Wars franchise, you'll notice a reoccurring trend. These people only care about one thing and one thing only: money and views. And if you are doing better than them, they lash out and attack you. No matter how many times they invite you out there to go meet Dave Filoni, hang out with Leslie Headland, and do all these kind of fun things, access media that you are. Well, it doesn't work out to views, even if you are the first, because guess what? The majority of Star Wars fans don't buy your BS, and they don't want to have anything to do with it. How do we prove this? Well, go back here. This one's 11 days. Ratio, 2.7 thousand downvotes to 1 upvotes. Ratio, this one, 12,000 views, 1.5 thousand downvotes to 546,000 upvotes. I mean, literally 2/3 worse. Once again, another one over here, Dragon Con recap. Something that doesn't even do with the Acolyte or Star Wars Outlaws. 6.4 thousand downvotes. Now, I'm obviously not saying to anybody to go over this channel. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, don't bother with this channel at all in any way, shape, or form. Don't go over there and don't do any of this kind of nonsense. Don't go after these people. But this, and no one in the fellowship has ever said to do anything like that in any range or form. But this is what they're getting from their very own audience, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not just the likes and the dislikes, because obviously you can like or dislike something if you're not already subscribed to the channel. But here's another one: Star Wars Outlaws full spoiler story review. 2.9 thousand downvotes with 23,000 viewers. And then If you really want to get into something interesting here, boys and girls, Social Blade, who keeps track of all of this kind of stuff for major YouTube channels out there. It's not just people going in there and review bombing their videos because people don't like what they did, even though it's perfectly well deserved. No, no, no. It's their own subscribers, their own fans that are leaving them, boys and girls. 9/5, right? What was this? 5 days? No, this was the day after the first post went out there. Negative 1,000 subscribers. People that were already subscribed to their channel, 1,000 of them gone. Views, 23,000. Just a few days later, on a Sunday, negative 2,000. Even though they got 180,000 views, they lost 2,000 subscribers. The next day, 4,000. The next day, 2,000. Their weekly average is 1.6 thousand subscribers lost over this last month. The last 30 days, they have lost 7,000 subscribers. With 2.3 million views total, they have lost 7,000 subscribers. Now, obviously, Social Blade's money and all of that kind of stuff isn't all that important. Isn't, a lot of people claim it's not very accurate in any way, shape, or form to the guys on the back end and stuff like that. I don't have a Social Blade, so I couldn't tell you how accurate it was, and even then, I'm small enough to where it wouldn't really matter anyway. But estimated monthly earnings, estimated yearly earnings, they're making a pretty good living. If any of this is true, which we don't think it is. But that's not the point. After a failed targeted harassment campaign that Star Wars Explained and his wife and Rewriting Ripley and all of the rest of these woke acolytes for the cult, all of these access media folks out there decided to go after it. And even this guy over here, the face of New Rock Stars, he was another one that put out a video out there trying to defend Leslie Headland, trying to not talk about, to downplay the fact that she was Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant, trying to say that she was brave and stunning for saying anything about him, even though the play she wrote made her the victim to be at it. It's the exact same kind of situation. These are shills. These are access media people. These are the people that are out there sucking Disney Star Wars dick, begging, and trying to show you how excited they are, how amazed they are. Oh my God, how amazing was the Acolyte. But at the end of the day, no matter how much they try to shill, no matter how much they try to push an agenda, no matter how much they get mad at other channels for being way more successful than them. And guess what? The reason why those channels are more successful is because they represent the actual Star Wars fan base. They're not out there shilling and sucking Dave Filoni's dick so they can get access to behind the scenes at Disney Star Wars. No, they're watching these abysmal abominations come out just like everyone else. And guess what? Disney Star Wars' The Acolyte got canceled because it was the lowest watched show in Disney Star Wars history and had the worst audience score on Rotten Tomatoes of any Star Wars product ever. So I'm sorry, Molly. I'm sorry that your cuck husband is so jealous of everybody else doing better for him than him that you have to go out there and try to start this kind of targeted harassment campaign to try to get people canceled and take their money away. Well, guess what? Who's laughing now, Star Wars Explained? Who's laughing now, Molly? You've lost 7,000 subscribers in the last month. This targeted harassment campaign where Team YouTube alone said that nothing that these guys had done had violated any of their rules has now cost you over 7,000 subscribers. And you're not getting any views to begin with, especially considering the amount of subscribers you have. And your like to dislike ratio is abysmal. And that will continue to cause you to fail miserably. So good job, Molly. Good job, Star Wars Explained. Good job, Rewriting Ripley. You found out that the pendulum is indeed swinging back. You don't have the power to cancel anyone anymore, and nobody's listening to you. Because just like your audience isn't listening to you anymore, and just like the subscribers to you that are bleeding out. 2 + 2 still equals 4, Molly. Up is still down. Up is still up and down is still down. No matter how much you guys are trying to change that, God is still on his throne in heaven, and Star Wars fans reject Disney Star Wars whole cloth. This is an abomination. It's a dumpster fire. The Acolyte deserved to get canceled along with a lot of other Disney Star Wars projects out there. And no matter how much you try to shill, Molly, no matter how much you and your cuck husband get jealous of everyone else's success, at the end of the day, everybody knows what you are. You're a shill, spirit of the age possessed Acolyte for the cult. And guess what? The cult is losing its power and its relevancy. And that reality is smacking you and your channel in the face. Welcome to the real world. The world rejects this nonsense. We reject your BS simping for a failed franchise that Disney has killed. Star Wars is dead, and guess what? Your shilling is dead too. No one believes you. You get exactly what you deserve because, after all, you did this to yourself and it blew up in your face.